The same asshole that did that said, I gotta come to Harlem and do this, or he's gonna blow up something else. Do you understand? Listen, I got a gun. You should get across the street. You should get across the street.
Stop acting crazy,
What?
all right? Like Looney Tunes, you know, like Bellevue.
Jesus.
A friend of yours? He looked like a friend of mine. I think the dude just escaped from some hospital, you know?
Oh my God. I told the librarian that I had a bad headache, but she didn't believe me. I really do have a bad headache, though. I have a very bad headache that my head does not feel.
You come in the country illegally as you did.
That Bruce Willis thing was really weird. I don't think I've ever seen that movie. I'd like to see it, though.
You have a moral right to let your relatives come to?
Well, first of all, I did not come into the country illegally. Let's get the facts straight. I came to the U.S. on a plane on a tourist visa. So I did not come into this country illegally.
I thought that you overstayed. I'm sorry, I totally misunderstood your bio.
I did overstay my visa, but I did not come into the country illegally.
Oh, you were here illegally. Okay. So I guess that's what I just said. You come in the country illegally as you did. You have a moral right to let your relatives...
Sleight of words. He said come to the country. Come to, it's even on there now. But she came legally and then overstayed her visa. So she did answer the question correctly, if you see that.
Historical photos you've never seen before. Wilt Chamberlain, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Andre the Giant in 1983. Chaos in the cockpit in 1990 when a window fell out mid-flight. Remains of a 500-year-old young girl found frozen on a mountain. Portrait of a beautiful woman in the Philippines in 1875. Too young to vote, but not too young to die. Young soldiers posed together in the Austrian snow in 1945. Mountain chief translates a song into Native American Sign Language, and a soldier from the United States Army receives a kiss from a liberated French child in 1945. Fashion in the 1960s. World War I soldiers laugh before going into battle. A beautifully detailed sculpture from 18...
Did you see that cop on...
Historical photos.
Yeah, this song, I don't know.
Did you see that cop on TV that was saying if someone breaks in your house in Florida, please shoot them? We prefer if you shoot them.
7 charges total. His bond's $157,500. And I want to say, as to the person, we don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking in your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually.
Hilarious. That's Florida. I mean,
Okay, I used to live in Santa Rosa County, Florida, which is up in the Panhandle. And yeah, the sheriff is a politician, and he's going to tell you that. But I'm talking a big but. I know a guy who is chased in Santa Rosa County, Florida, by road ragers, and he got all the way to his house, and the people chased him and went to his door. He opened the door and pulled a gun on him, and he got probation. So, maybe they've changed. That was like 20 years ago. Maybe it's changed.
In my exploration on online dating, I came to some Asian dating sites. You want to have a red flag when looking on them. The first thing you need to do is check their image by doing a reverse image search on Google or Yandex. A red flag is if they ask you to go to WhatsApp or another chat. That could be a red flag. And lastly, their conversation with you, if you can, select it, copy it, and paste into Google search or possibly another search online, and check and see if it's listed online. If their picture is anywhere else on the internet, it's a red flag that that's not the person that you're speaking to. So I hope this information helps you.
Well, nowadays it's getting to the point where you have to do a background check on people you're dating. Sad.
Have you you guys look up the net worth of the royal family, they've literally built this entire sandhill into an absolute utopia. It's absolutely bananas. And you look at their net worth on Forbes and it says $2 billion. Make $2 billion a day. You have no idea. These people are sitting on trillions of dollars. Real wealth shuts up. If you guys look up the net worth of the royal,
Yeah, they got money. But, you know, if it says $2 billion, it's depending on how they count it. And they give a lot of it away.
A lot of things will be hard for you to comprehend. That's why you're in sex work, because you can't offer value in the marketplace.
What the
Don't worry, I'm not really talking to you. I'm speaking against you as a symbol.
A symbol of what?
A symbol of a declining society where people lack values. So the point is this. If you had IQ and skills to offer to the marketplace, you can earn a good income. Being that the most valuable thing.
Hold on. Rusto just followed. Thank you so much, and I will follow you back. I'm new to this, so I don't know exactly what exactly I'm doing, but let's continue the watch.
Thing about you is something that you never earned. You didn't earn knowledge, you didn't earn skills. It's your breast that you paid for and your butthole. So you market that to earn money, which is to say, if I took your brain and placed your brain into a man's body, you would be in poverty.
I'm just good for nothing. Yep, you caught me.
No, you are good for something. That's why you have OnlyFans. And that's my point, is that that's what you're good for. A lot of things will be hard for you to.
I don't know, you know. So people are doing sex work, you know. I'd rather women do sex work independently than from some kind of a human trafficking form. That's acceptable to me. And also, they should get checked regularly and probably have a license to do that, since your body is touching somebody else's body. So, and you don't know, you're jumping to conclusions on people if you're assuming that because they are in sex work they have a low IQ. That might not be the case. Might necessarily not be the case. It might be sometimes, but not all the time.
So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not color, it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're in a
Steven
space
Spielberg
right now.
did Schindler's List. Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List. But they're cultural differences. I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
Have you ever noticed the giant clock at Amsterdam Airport that seems to have a man trapped inside it? If you thought you had a tedious job, imagine erasing and redrawing the clock hands every minute. Well, that's what this guy does 1,440 times a day, without a break, never missing a single minute. Interestingly, although it looks like a man is really in there serving time, that's not the case. However, the reality behind it is just as impressive. To make this clock, they filmed a man drawing the time for 12 hours straight to create the looping video we all see. Have you ever noticed the giant clock at Amsterdam Airport?
That's pretty cool. I'll give you a thumbs up.
The daily life of the neighborhood crackhead. You know, he's just living his life sitting back with no care in the world. No care in the world. Neighborhood crackhead looking at nothing. Doing his thing. The daily life of the neighborhood crackhead.
That was it. Thumbs down. Nothing against, like, anything. It just was boring.
Why do 80% of all Americans live east of this line, while only 20% occupy the western part of the United States? Even more, the majority in the West live in California, Oregon, and Washington within this line, accounting for 11% of all those living in the West. Thus, only 9% of Americans live in half of the mainland of the US, which is equivalent to the population of New York City alone. Why is that? The main reason for this is geography, especially the Rocky Mountains that stretch across the entire country and act as a natural barrier to the rains coming from the Pacific Ocean. They are so high that they prevent the clouds from passing into the center of the country, and this effect is called rain shadow. At the same time, precipitation from the east can easily penetrate into the depths of the country, but due to winds from the Gulf of Mexico, cannot cross this line as it changes its direction. Because of the lack of precipitation, it creates an area of dry land that is not suitable for agricultural production, and this is reflected in the population density. Why do 80% of all Americans live east of this line, while only
That was interesting. I felt I learned something.
$1 million. Which of the following landlocked countries is entirely contained within another country? Lesotho, Burkina Faso, Mongolia, Luxembourg. I think it's Lesotho. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Is that your...
Let me tell you who Jake Paul is as a person. I'm about to expose the fuck out of him. I was about to end my life. I called Nakisa, Jake Paul's boxing manager. I said, brother, my life is over. Is there anything you can hire me to do? He goes, I'll look into it. A couple of days later, I get a call. I get a call from Jake Paul. Haven't spoken to this guy in ages. What's up, Yusuf? How you doing? I'm not doing good, Jake. The Deji fight really fucked me up. I'm about to off myself. I'm done. And I was. And he goes, I know the best therapist in LA. She's more like a life coach. She works at this hospital. You have to talk to her. He connects me with her. I tell her I need to go to a mental health hospital. I can't afford it. She relays it to Jake on his own. She calls me back and goes, Jake is gonna pay for your hospitalization. We don't want you saying anything. He just wants to do it to help you. Jake Paul paid and saved my life when nobody was in my life. Jake fucking Paul.
Well, that's nice.
I fuck around, gotta be pregnant. My lawyer hollering, nigga pay me. Niggas locked up trying to spray me. I gotta want something shaking. Seem like I'm all out of blessing. I don't know if God trying to test me. Trying to help a nigga and he left me. Tell you the truth, I'm stressing. And fuck around, gotta be pregnant. My lawyer hollering, nigga pay me. Niggas locked up trying to spray me.
Your dad was my dad. Just a guy just standing there.
Step out of the house. Step out of the house.
Whoa.
We're just gonna stay in the house. They're gonna be out front.
Wait a minute, how do you come in my house?
Right there.
A little boy who managed to escape this house of horrors to ask for help led police to this home on August 30th. The home owned by formerly licensed mental health counselor Jody Hildebrandt. The police search came after a neighbor reported a young, malnourished child with severe wounds showed up on his doorstep.
You come in, my buddy. I'm a police officer.
Officers found the child's siblings still inside Hildebrandt's house. It took several first responders to coax the child out of a closet. Their condition brought one medic to tears. Officers explored every corner of the house, including a safe room. Inside, they found ropes and bindings used to hold down the children. They also photographed a cayenne pepper and honey tincture used to dress both children's wounds on their wrists and ankles.
I'm not gonna step out
Step out of the house. Step out of the house.
Whoa.
Wow. That was an interesting video, but I didn't like.
What's the most gruesome story that you have from the Middle East?
We were overwatching this village, and it was in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. A group of 15 to 20 Taliban fighters that grouped up to plan an attack, and we had Predator drone support above us, so we had thermal vision on these guys, and we proceeded to drop a Hellfire rocket on this group of individuals. In that
Hey, we are back. I had to eat lemonade.
tight of a space, one Hellfire rocket is pretty devastating. Maybe 2 guys survived the initial.
Why is Wyoming so empty? Wyoming is the 10th largest state in the country by area. It is quite big, larger than most European countries. However, despite this, only 580,000 people live there, which makes Wyoming the least populated state.
Cold.
Even in harsh Alaska, more people live there than in the actual center of the USA. Its nearest twin neighbor, Colorado, is comparable in size, but has 10 times the population. But why is this? To understand the reason, we need to go back to 1858 when gold was discovered in Colorado, triggering a gold rush that led to a flow of huge numbers of settlers, which in turn caused a population growth jump. Meanwhile, Wyoming didn't have as much gold and as a result, didn't experience such a population boost. Most of its area is made up of rocky mountains, with only about 20% belonging to the Great Plains. Harsh climate and winds also don't favor agriculture and population growth. Moreover, 48% of the entire territory is owned by the federal government. But this has given us the beautiful and world-famous parks. Why is Wyoming so empty?
That's interesting, and I think this guy's been coming up on here a lot, maybe because I keep liking his videos.
So, do Republicans have a good answer to address the border crisis other than busing migrants to liberal cities? Ooh, a little dig there, Ted, a little...
It's actually very simple. What actually worked is we had an agreement with Mexico that was called the Remain in Mexico Agreement, which says that if someone crossed into Mexico illegally from typically Central or South America, they would remain in Mexico while their asylum case was proceeding in the U.S., and the numbers plummeted. We had the lowest rate, as I said, in 45 years, and then Biden came in and ripped that international agreement to shreds. And that's what produced now 8.4 million illegal aliens since Biden's been president.
Boy, I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Throw this party and a kid walks in, backpack on, jaw a little swollen. Nobody knows this guy. I said, who that dude right there? They say, that's that new dude, Kanye. He produced beats for Jay-Z, whatever. I said, yo, they say you rap, man. This dude do a freestyle that kills everything. I said, oh my God, you're incredible. I said, how come you're not doing music? I'm trying to. I got a song for you. I said, for me? He said, so get your ass up. Get up, get up. I said, what? It's 3 in the morning. Kanye's working on this song. And you hear thunks, thunks, thunk. I ain't saying she a gold digger. Everybody's jamming to the vibe.
Vibing out.
Yeah, vibing, right?
Yeah.
Turns it off. That's whack.
What?
And everybody's like, what? He said, that's whack. And he said, go in the booth, Fox. I said, what you doing? So we go in the booth. And he takes over the studio, says, all right, Fox, give me something. And I'm like, okay, run it back. She take my money when I'm in lead. Yeah, she's a trifling friend indeed. Oh, she's a gold digger. Way over town that digs on. And the rest is history.
I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke niggas.
Throw this party and a kid.
That's interesting, and that's probably the only song I can think of Kanye right offhand. That was interesting. I'll give it a thumbs up.
The Bible is the answer. This is what, like, whatever you have going on in your life. And if you don't know the Bible, then you're not going to know where to find those answers.
Right.
And, and now it might take some time. And now what's the crazy thing is with the tools and the technology we have, I mean, I could go into Google and say, I could type any question and then add in the Bible.
Right.
And it's going to give me some references and it's going to give me multiple scriptures. That's what I did to get these verses. Like I knew Proverbs 27:17 is what I wanted, but I mean, I'm being honest and transparent. It's like I didn't have 2 Timothy 3:16 through 17 memorized and in my heart like I should have.
Right.
Now I'm going to be more intentional and think about that, but God uses it to prepare and equip his people to do every good work.
Bible's my favorite book, but I'm not sure he gets it. I don't want to get into that.
Do you know the names of the foreign billionaires who fund the conferences you go to? Since you don't know the stocks, do you know the names of the foreign billionaires?
This is unbelievable to me.
Let me help you.
Mr. Chairman.
One of them is Hans-Georg Weiss, a Swiss billionaire who has used various dark money front groups.
I do not know what you are
talking about. Various dark money front groups to funnel foreign money into American politics. He has used the Burger Action Fund, $20 million, that then sent money to the Fund for a Better Future, that then sent money to the Climate Power Group that has funded conferences you've attended. Do you know who this is? Do you think it's a good idea to attend conferences funded by foreign billionaires? Do you know the names of the foreign billionaires who fund the conference?
He's using some fallacies because he's making a false comparison. Why would she actually have to know who conference?
Let's say I recognize somebody at this table that I don't like that we...
Did you know that most of the Canada and United States border is just a cleared strip of forest? Yes, they decided to mark the longest land boundary in the world just that way, for 5,500 miles from the state of Maine to Alaska, by simply cutting a 20-foot wide strip of forest wherever there are trees. This deforestation is also known as the slash. The dividing line is also marked by monuments. There are about 8,000 of them along the border. All this is done in order to have a physical marking of the border. For example, during a hike, a person can easily identify the boundary. The slash is maintained by the International Boundary Commission, which also removes new trees there every 15 years. An interesting fact, the clearing of these trees costs each U.S. taxpayer about 50 cents per year. Unlike the southern border, there are no fences, barriers, or military support, making the border between the USA and Canada the most undefended border in the world. But you can't easily cross the slash there. Residents of the USA and Canada can only cross the border through checkpoints. Did you know that most of the Canada and United States border is just a clear...
Taylor Swift's fans, known for their detective skills, have uncovered connections in her latest album, The Tortured Poets Department. In the music video for the lead single Fortnite, eagle-eyed fans noticed references to Swift's previous songs, showcasing her intricate storytelling. With Swift's penchant for hidden clues, her fans continue to unravel the mysteries embedded within her artistry. Taylor Swift's fans, known for their detective skills, have uncovered connections in...
Well, 80% of the people they put on ventilators died.
Yeah, so, in fact, I...
The far left, which always like to use, well, Europe does it. Yeah, no, that doesn't work on this one anymore. Or on immigration. Sweden opened its borders to over 1.5 million immigrants since 2010, and now 20% of its citizens are foreign-born, and its education system is tanking, and it has Europe's highest rate of gangland killings. And one result is that the far-right parties are in the government now there for the first time. To which liberals say blaming immigrants for the rising crime rate is racist. Yeah, but is it true? Of course it's true. It's not a coincidence the quality of life went down after the Somali gangs started a...
Well, 80%.
The far left...
Here's what happened, right? I went to Sainsbury's, I got like a ready meal lasagna. Yeah. Put it in the oven. No disrespect to Sainsbury's on this. It wasn't to my liking.
You didn't like... When it was properly cooked, you still...
Wasn't my thing. Right. Put it in the fridge because I didn't want to put it in the bin. I felt bad. Then I got hammered on my own. Then later on...
Hammered on your own?
Yeah, I was watching Queer Eye and getting drunk.
OK.
And then, when I was really drunk, I went, I'm going to have another go at that lasagna. Yeah. Time for round two. I got a serving spoon. I was confident.
Yeah.
Put it in my mouth. Just the nicest meal I've ever had.
Do you think you actually enjoyed it, or do you just think you were so drunk you didn't know?
I did try it again sober.
Ah.
It was disgusting. Here's what happened, right?
Top 10 most affordable states to buy a house in 2024, Part 1. Number 10, Louisiana. Cajun culture. Beautiful swamps. Annual income needed around $67,886. Number 9, Missouri. Gateway to the West, friendly people. $66,986 annually. Number 8, Michigan. Great Lakes, bustling cities. Around $66,343 to manage home ownership. Number 7, Oklahoma. Diverse landscapes, rich Native American heritage. $65,443 annually. Number 6, Iowa. Rolling farmlands, friendly communities. $65,314 to cover costs. What's your dream state? Let me know in the comments. Top 10 most affordable states to buy a house in 2024. Part.
Where's part 2? Part 1. Here's part 2.
Top 10 cheapest states to live in for 2024. Part 2. Number 5, Georgia. The Peach State offers low housing, transportation, and utilities. Cost of living index, 88.8. Median single-family home, $246,272. Number 4, Oklahoma. Diverse landscapes meet affordability. Cost of living index, 87.9. Median home price, $151,469. Number 3, Alabama. Beautiful scenery with a low cost of living. Cost of living index, 87.9. Median home price, $170,184. Number 2, Kansas. Midwestern charm and affordability go hand in hand. Cost of living index, 86.5. Median single-family home, $176,898. Number 1, Mississippi. The champion of affordability awaits. Cost of living index, 83.3. Median single-family home, $140,818. Stay tuned for more amazing content and subscribe.
Okay,
Top
that
10
wasn't the
cheapest.
one.
You made $100,000 last year. Here's the states that'll tax you the most. 10's Montana with an average income tax rate of 28%. 9's New York at 28.1%. 8's Nebraska at 28.2%. 7's Maine at 28.5%. 6 is Minnesota at 28.6%. 5's South Carolina at 28.9%. 4's Connecticut at 29.9%. 3's California at 30%. 2's Hawaii at 30.1%. And number 1's Oregon at 30.2%. You made $100,000 last year. Here's the states that'll tax you the most. 10's Montana with an average income tax rate of 28%. 9's New York at 28.1%. 8's Nebraska.
9 U.S. states with zero income tax. Number 1, Texas. Number 2, Alaska.
I got stuck in this channel.
Number 3, Florida. Number 4, Nevada. Number 5, Wyoming. Number 6, Tennessee. Number 7, Washington. Number 8, South Dakota. Number 9, New Hampshire. 9 U.S. states with zero income tax. How much salary a single person needs to live?
Okay, let's get back to the regular one.
Why are you guys looking at me?
Listen, we got all the audio, we got all the chat logs. I'm talking to Allie. We're gonna talk about it, all right?
Oh my God. I'm just trying to have fun here.
23-year-old Christopher Carey, a transgender online sex predator from Hastings, Nebraska, believed he was communicating with a 12-year-old girl from Lincoln, Nebraska.
You were talking to her last night about, sex
Oh my
and
God, no.
you just gotta know the pullout game. You wanted to take Allie to a dark place and make out?
We'll drive around, go somewhere, and we could go somewhere in the dark or something to make out and stuff.
Chris.
Get the away from me.
Now we're going to place tons of pressure on Hastings PD, the detectives, and everyone involved to make sure Chris is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and justice is served.
Why are you guys looking at me?
Listen.
She picked one of my videos.
So I picked Eminem, my name is.
And I was like, that's cool that she picked my video.
I heard he's married now.
She heard a rumor that I was married and then said,
The girl that he talks about killing on his record, actually.
and I was like, no, you didn't just say that, you little bitch.
Little bitch put me on blast on MTV. Yeah, he's cute, but I think he's married to Kim.
And then she said, yeah, doesn't he have a song about killing his baby's mother?
Girls out there, don't let a guy disrespect you.
And I always tell my friends, I'm so against domestic violence, and if you're in an abusive relationship, and I was like, why did she just pick my video if she's picking it apart? She didn't know if I was married or not. She just heard a rumor and then put me on blast. But I figured, well, since she did that, I'm gonna voice some rumors that I heard about you.
Cross the share with a Christina Aguilera when I grab her by the hair and drag her across the Sahara.
She picked one of my videos.
So I picked Eminem.
Interesting. Paintball guns. Wow.
A company that sells stationary bikes for a fucking living is trying to silence Robert Kennedy Jr.
He had Robert Kennedy Jr. on his show, and an advertiser called and told him, "You're not posting that podcast, take it down." It was Peloton. Barry McCarthy is the CEO of Peloton. Imagine that fucking dork calling you and telling you that you can't have Robert Kennedy. Who the fuck are you, Barry McCarthy? We're throwing the Pelotons in the garbage. We're throwing them out of the UFC gym.
A company that sells stationary bikes for a fuck.
Wow. Must be a Biden supporter or a Trump supporter. I don't know. And then it goes into politics, so that's a sucky subject.
Does anybody really listen to the words of the Red Hot Chili Peppers song Californication, considering that it was written almost 25 years ago?
Psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation, and little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation. It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. Pay your surgeon very well to break the spell of aging. Celebrity skin, is this your chin or is that war you're waging? Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. In Cobain, can you hear the sphere singing songs off station to station? And Alderon's not far away, it's Californication. Born and raised by those who praise control of population.
Does anybody really listen to the words of the Red Hot Chili?
That was interesting.
Remember the man who sucker punched your random child?
I found it. I work in the service industry, and I can't believe you don't tip 25% for to-go orders.
You don't work in the service industry if you work in fast food. Let me help you with this. You work in a fast food place. That's not the service industry. The service industry is where you provide service, not where you hand food over the counter that someone else cooked.
I work in the service industry, and I can't believe...
I don't know, when you're doing service. I don't know if Dave Ramsey's right about that. He's great about saving money. That's all about it.
George Soros boogeyman. He is, I believe, the top contributor to the Democratic Party. And in my opinion, he fundamentally hates humanity. That's my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well, he's doing things that erode the fabric of civilization. That's part of the problem in San Francisco and LA and a bunch of other cities. He's very smart. And he's very good at arbitrage. You know, famously, he shorted the British pound. That's sort of how I think he made his first money, for shorting the pound. So he's good at spotting, basically arbitrage, like spotting value for money that other people don't see. One of the things he noticed was that the value for money in local races is much higher than it is in national races. But once you get to sort of city and state district attorneys, the value for money is extremely good. And Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws, you just need to change how they're enforced. If nobody chooses to enforce the law, or the laws are differentially enforced, it's like changing the laws. That's what he figured out. George Soros boogeyman. He
is interesting.
So as you're choosing your leaders, ask yourself, does this person mean it?
It looks like fresh poop, but it's black tar heroin. One of the slickest maneuvers we ever pulled in the cartel was hiding these bitches in plain sight. The DEA came over to execute a search warrant. We torched them up. We got a little torched ourselves. Motherfuckers walked right past the evidence, even complimented our design. It looks like fresh poop, but it's black tar heroin. One of the slickest maneuvers.
This is my baby. Yes, he's in the bathroom for an hour.
Okay.
Literally an hour.
The child had FaceTimed his father while locked in the bathroom. The parents are divorced. The dad called police.
He was showing Tony this stuff that he found in the house.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, I don't either.
The other officer then talks to the 9-year-old boy who's in tears.
This is my baby. Yes, he's in the bathroom for an hour.
Okay.
Literally an hour.
The child had FaceTimed his father while locked.
Can I take this off or not? Just give me a minute.
Wow.
Oh, no. F***ing way. Can I take this off?
Wow.
Just give me a minute.
Me and XXX was really close. XXX is walking around with $50,000 in a duffel bag. No security, tries to buy it, gets killed. He writes me June 16th, be safe, okay? Don't let your guard down. Next day he dies. Every comment was, where was his security? Pop Smoke, murdered in LA. Where was his security? 6ix9ine has security, he's pussy.
I've done too great for us, my dear.
Me and XXX.
If you guys are a bunch of dopes that are
Hey, Olivia.
Yeah.
How many plastic surgeries have you had?
0.
Hey, Chloe.
Hey.
How many plastic surgeries have you had?
1.
Which one?
A breast augmentation. It was the best thing I ever did.
Hey, Anna.
Yeah.
How many plastic surgeries have you had?
0 so far.
Hey, Jazz.
Hi.
How many plastic surgeries have you gotten?
None.
Hey, Callista. How many plastic surgeries have you had?
I've only had 1 plastic surgery, and that was my breast augmentation.
Hey, Laura.
Yes.
How many plastic surgeries have you had?
None yet, but I do plan on getting a lot.
Hey, Olivia.
Yeah.
How many plastic surgeries have you had?
Okay. I don't know. You get a downvote.
Here's every weird crime and punishment from ancient Rome.
1. Parricide.
If you killed a member of your own family, you were condemned to the most feared death in the empire, the penalty of the sack.
A dog, monkey, snake and rooster would be added to a leather sack before the perpetrator was sewn inside and thrown into a river.
2. Treason. For this you'd be taken to the top of a cliff overlooking Rome and flung off the edge. But don't worry, if you managed to survive the enormous fall, there were men at the bottom waiting to finish the job. 3. Breaking the oath of celibacy. The Vestal virgins were the high priestesses of ancient Rome. If a virgin broke celibacy, she would be sentenced to a living burial, which meant she was buried in a chamber beneath the ground with some bread, water and a lamp to die of suffocation. 4. Poisoners, sorcerers and Christian women. These unfortunate souls were tied to a stake and left to be devoured by a pack of hungry lions. 5. Being a shit emperor. The punishment for this was often execution by dagger. In fact, 30 of the 33 assassinated Roman emperors died this way, making the job of Roman emperor statistically one of the most lethal occupations in history. Here's every weird crime and punishment from ancient Rome.
I wanted to photograph the Hells Angels. I just flew up to Oakland. You know, you can't really arrange that. You can't call them up on the phone and say, hey, I'm a photographer in LA. I want to photograph you guys. That's just not going to happen. And I ring their buzzer at their headquarters in Oakland, and no answer. It's like 9:30 in the morning. I ring it again. Nobody answers. I ring it a third time, and somebody comes. Oh, this junkyard dog of a biker opens the door and says, what the fuck do you want? And I'm like, I start telling him, he just slams the door in my face. He goes, fuck off. He just slams the door. Went across the street. There's a Mexican restaurant that was serving breakfast. I got breakfast for a bunch of guys, and I brought it over, and I ring it again. He opens the door, and I had breakfast for him. And eventually they let me in, and we chatted, and I eventually photographed the president. I wanted to photograph the Hells Angels.
This is Mike Wilson. How may I help you today?
Hello, this is the Microsoft Fraud Detection Department. By answering this call, you have helped us find your exact location. Thank you for your contribution. Authorities are on their way. To cancel this action, please press 1. Thank you. To speak with a live representative, please press 2. Thank you for calling Microsoft Fraud Department. This is Amanda. How can I help you? Hello?
I can offer you $1.50 an hour.
That's great.
But are you okay with working for me?
And I like the idea of watching you build a business. Your money's green. That's the only concern about color I got.
Let's get to work.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Just doing some renovations on the empty apartment.
What hours do you work?
Well, the city say all construction has to be done between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And you can tell that Mick that owns this place when he goes jacking the rent. He ain't jacking mine.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Barker was very clear about your lease when he sold me the building.
This is a white building. You can't own this place.
Bernard Garrett.
Yes, officer. Is there a problem?
Miss Cooper, in apartment 28 is not like you working in the building.
She said you were impersonating the owner of the building.
I do own the building, officer. I keep a copy with me just to be safe.
This actually looks real.
Try to be more respectful to your tenants.
You can't be here after 6 p.m.
Contractor can't be here after 6 p.m., Miss Cooper. I'm a resident. I'm moving in. I can offer you $1.50 an hour.
Here's one fact about every US president from George Washington to the present day. Part 8. 1. Jimmy Carter is the only president to have claimed to have seen a UFO. 2. At the time, Ronald Reagan was the US's oldest ever president and had a habit of dozing off during meetings. 3. George H.W. Bush once threw up on the lap of the then Japanese Prime Minister during a state dinner. 4. Bill Clinton was seemingly a bit of a sex addict, allegedly having a huge number of affairs, including 2 which both lasted over 10 years each. 5. George W. Bush once choked so hard on a pretzel that he became unconscious. Truly, presidential assassins come in all shapes and sizes. 6. Barack Obama was the third president in a row to be left-handed, which is kind of surprising considering there's only been 7 left-handed presidents in total. 7. Donald Trump is the first former president to have been criminally charged, facing around 91 charges across 4 cases. 8. The year Joe Biden first became a senator, his family was involved in a severe car accident, meaning Biden had to be sworn in while in his family's hospital room. And that's the end of part 8. Also shout out to Secret Lives of the Presidents.
We're looking to stretch our lines of communication, and I'm in charge of figuring out who would be willing to sell us a stretch of land.
I ain't selling my land.
No, of course not. All we're looking for is access to a very thin strip of your land to spread our line. A very, very thin strip.
How thin?
It's about, about this wide for the length of your property. We would start at about, it would start about here, and it would go underground, really deep, like 10 feet, all the way under your land to about that, pole over there.
You want to buy a 12-inch strip off of my property?
Well, under your property. And it's just to put a line in. We would bring our horizontal drilling machine. It would sit right on that street. I think it would impress the neighbors. And it would drill underneath your lot the entire way. Nothing broken, nothing torn out. It would be completely invisible. It's basically like free money.
Ain't no free money, my friend. Money is money.
That's very true, sir. That's very true.
You got all this written down somewhere?
Yes, I do. Dude. We're looking to stretch our lines of communication, and I'm in charge of figuring out.
If he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? You know who said Luke from 2 Live Crew?
Yeah, he said he was to leave early.
Yeah, when Luke from 2 Live Crew is leaving early, you got a wild party.
Shouldn't smoke cigars. It's not a good habit.
She asked me on the air, how do you feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I said what I felt. They're my homeboys, I love them. When I got back to the hotel, it was a whole nother atmosphere. He sent his homeboy up to get the bud from me as opposed to him coming to get it. Mutar came and got the bud, Pop on some bud. So when we got on the plane to go back to LA the next day,